I felt a energetic pull to connect with you. I follow you on Instagram, but we haven't met before in person, so thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for reaching out to me. As I said, it was great to hear from you, and same thing. Follow you on Instagram and I think Facebook, but other opposite sides of the world.
Yeah.
I describe myself as imagination imagined. I try and live my life and exude magic all the time in fantasy. I grew up just always, imagination, fantasy, kind of I wanted to live with unicorns. I wanted to, have giraffes and things and stuff, and wolves. I would just, animals are a big part of my life, and I'm sure we'll kind of touch on that a little bit more later, but imagination imagined, trying to create fantasy into reality, and in any way, shape, or form I can. And that's definitely manifested in a lot of different ways in my life, a little bit differently than I ever thought it would.
I love that, like, imagination into reality. And I think that's the energetics that I just feel so drawn to, because it is like that. It's like when you follow your Instagram, it's like diving into your reality, but it's imagination as well. Like, it's every little girl's dream,
Yeah, so I have actually been up here in Alaska for the last 2 years being a dog musher. That was one of my childhood fantasies. I got to live out, thinking, I just wanted to live in the woods with the dogs, which I did, and it was wonderful and amazing getting to learn from those dogs. They're just absolutely phenomenal. It's such precious creatures. And then I transitioned into working with reindeer, which that was kind of a fantasy that I never thought I'd have happen in my life. But then looking back as a kid, it's like, well, yeah, of course I got to be with reindeer. It was a tourism company, and so we take people on walks, so we teach them all about reindeer. But my background is in health and wellness. My first education in wellness was a licensed esthetician. So I've been a skincare specialist for 6 years now, not always practicing. Moved up to Alaska and did work tourism. I mean, that's kind of our main focus up here in Alaska is tourism, is for our economy, and not a big wellness world, at least that I was really able to find and connect with. So I decided to make my own, and I last summer taught reindeer yoga. And that ever since I was a little kid and started to get into wellness, massaging my mom and things and whatnot, it was like, I just want to combine my two favorite things in the world, which are animals and wellness, like healing people and helping, using animals to accomplish that. And so, getting to teach reindeer yoga last summer was obviously magical. And the reindeer really did help me realize that it was healing, that I needed to do, and combine them with animals. I had decided to change the fantasy, and I'm moving back home to Montana. That's where I was born and raised, and stuff. And just for now, I never say things are set in stone, because I've definitely transitioned an awful lot in my life. But I'm going to start working with horses. That was, I kind of always have to have an animal in my life. I have 3 dogs. That they're my pack, or a very strong, connected pack that I have as my family. And so I'm going to be getting into horses when I move home, and just kind of combining all of my strengths, and kind of curating my own different type of equine therapy, just kind of following that path that I'm feeling guided to. And stuff. And that was what was really cool. Something that my grandma said, she was in the process of passing away, and it was right. My dad was apparently, I didn't know this, a little kind of like frustrated with that I was moving to Alaska. And my grandma said to him, well, at least she's doing what she loves. And he just kind of was like, oh, okay, there she goes. like, thanks, Grandma. Helping me out there. And a friend of mine called me up to babysit her little girl. And I was super excited because her little girl is amazing. And I walked in the house and she goes, Elsa, do you want to watch Balto? And I got, the through line, like shivers down the spine, goosebumps, and just like dead in my tracks. And I was like, oh, remember that like little girl that saw Balto and wanted to be a dog musher? And it was like, yep, that's it. That's what you're supposed to go do. And so then that following winter, I moved up to Whitefish, Montana, so northern Montana near Glacier National Park. Got a dog sledding job that actually went really horribly, but I loved it. But the dogs were just phenomenal. And so what I love about dog mushing is that it, for me personally, and many people that I've talked to who do it, it redefines serenity, because it does. It puts you out there in unison as a team with animal, human, and then you're in nature. So it's just like my 3 favorite things, humans, animals, and nature, just in one. And it's so quiet and just, like redefine serenity. And I had but that's what I always say, is that I consciously moved to Alaska for the dogs, And then I kismetly found the reindeer. That's kind of how it was supposed to happen. But once that, young girl said, do you want to watch Balto? I knew that's what I needed to do. I didn't question it. I don't, one of my friends the other day asked me, he's like, do you feel like you trust your intuition pretty good? And I was like, yeah, like, I'd like to think I do, and stuff. It's got me here. It's got me this far.
And what would you want to say to, as you transition to honor this time in Alaska?
Oh my gosh, it has been so beautiful. I recently just got back from a 10-day hunting trip in the Arctic. So like above the Arctic Circle, hunting caribou. That kind of put it all in like one little neat package. Because I got to, we went dog sledding up in the Arctic. And so we brought a friend of mine, we brought a team of dogs, and then we go out hunting. And I saw a wolf out there, which was really special for me. It's one of my favorite animals. Actually, like my main power animal is wolf. And it brought it all together. That's, the dogs and the reindeer, well, caribou. Reindeer and caribou are two different animals. And nature. And I got to be out camping, and it basically was the epitome of what I was hoping to accomplish moving up here. And I did it. It was different from what I thought it was going to be, night and day. But the epitome of what I wanted to accomplish was a new, refined sense of confidence that I had in myself, exploring, being with dogs and around other animals that I accept, appreciate, and adore more than anything, and just being alone, being out there. I mean, that's why people move up to Alaska, is to be alone and away from everybody. But I met some phenomenal people too along the way. I have some really great friends here that I'm dearly going to miss. You came to Alaska, you had your time here, and it is ready to say goodbye. It's kind of like it was like the best goodbye I could have had, going up on that trip and stuff. And we had, some beautiful northern light showings and things, and that was very humbling. And that's what I love about Alaska. That's it too. Alaska is very humbling. I grew up in Montana, big sky country, and things, and there's a lot of grandeur in Montana, but Alaska is just this different scale where, those moments in your life where you just feel small. Well, Alaska's like that most days. A lot of those lessons that I've learned up here, the appreciation, further appreciation of nature, the humility and the humbleness that you can have when working with an animal, and with people too. I can kind of bring all of that back home to Montana into this next phase of my career and just self. That's what I'm really kind of excited for.
Growing up, was sort of energetic work or spiritual work quite present in your family?
No.
Oh.
No. Like a lot of like emotional talk was very prominent in my life with my mom. She was excellent at saying, feel your feelings, talk about them. What do you need? Vent, let it out. Don't bottle things up. And that was really great to learn how to talk and release emotions. At least with her, I have a very strong connection with my mom. Yeah, overall though, like wellness work wasn't, but body work was. My very first memory as a human incarnated in this life is touching my mom, stroking her face. And growing up, even, a young kid, I was always giving her massages and my, family and stuff. But yeah, I did 2 years of college studying kinesiology. See, yoga was kind of my first. No, I got Reiki first. I don't even really know how all of a sudden I got into all this stuff, but I was always kind of called to that work and things, just, from a young age and stuff, kind of would, just understand the energy of the body, of the things I was around and whatnot to get to see. And so that animal therapy that I kind of came up with was, using them as that mirror. If I can get to know this animal that is 100% prey well enough that they're comfortable with me, just think how well I can get to know myself. Oh, they're a mirror. And animals in general, whether they are predator or prey, to a point are a mirror for us in some way, shape, or form. But what I love about reindeer, and what I'm really thrilled to learn about horses as well, is they're prey, 100% prey. Every aspect of their being is meant to run, to hide, to be away, to not make connections with anything outside of their normal realm. And so they're a very hard animal to get to learn and love. It takes a lot of time. You really have to be very patient with them. And so what I kind of started to realize was, if I'm regimented in my actions, what I'm giving off with them every single day, then I can begin to curate a relationship. And then I thought, oh, if in my human life, I can, with the people that I am interacting with on a daily basis, curate my actions the same way, regimented every single day, the expectations there. And yes, with humans, of course, that part's a little bit different as far as expectations and whatnot. But when you look at an internal perspective, in our modern society, we don't want to know what's inside of us if we're not comfortable yet even looking at a mirror in our own skin. And so as an esthetician, I was like, here, learn to love the skin you're in, little commercial quote there. But then you're comfortable to go deeper. Then you can look at your mind, your emotions, your soul, your shadow, all those other aspects of yourself. And so as for me or for the reindeer, it was, man, there's this animal that doesn't want to be around you. Not at all. But then you work with them, you take that time to get to know them, and little by little, that trust, that patience, that bond builds up, and you can begin to create that connection. And it's not so scary.
And can you speak about shadow work for those who don't know what it is? Like how you see it?
Yeah, so just all of those just brushed aside aspects of self. That, oh no, that's not me, or going back to the animal mirrors, the mirrored aspects of you, where somebody does something and you feel that gut wrench, that like, oh, that your shoulders pop up, they cringe, and you're just, I don't like that, that's or you get really jealous or envious or something like that of someone doing something that you don't even realize is going on. It's that mirror. Oh, that's something in me that I wish I could do, or that's something in me that, oh no, I'm not like that. I don't have that in me. Those quirks, those kinks, denied aspects of self that we think that we aren't, they're really beautiful and they're part of us. And I think shadow work is a never ending aspect of who we are. It's kind of part of the human experience, because we have ego and we have, all these different aspects of self, and our experience is always changing too. So new aspects come up, and anytime something comes up where, I am feeling triggered, it's like, oh man, like that's a new part of myself to learn about. A great way to work with shadow is word choice, that fear, not being so scared of what's inside of you and what's reflecting out of you. Speaking with yourself, and you're using, more warm and affectionate word choice with yourself. And then you can add in, humility and humble and all the different things the animals can teach you.
And how do you think people can overcome that sense of fear? Like if they have it, is it just step in, or is there more to it?
Yeah, just dive in. Personally though, it's that, but someone who, as far as human design goes, who might be projector or reflector and things, is going to be a very different way that they have to go about that. But energetically, it's get quiet. And a lot of times too, what I've kind of recently come to understanding is asking what my shadow wants. Because first thing you asked me was, who am I? And it was imagination and fantasy. That's been one of my biggest shadows to overcome. Because growing up, it was like, oh, she's got her head in the clouds. Oh, you can't do that. That's not possible. And things. And that was a big shadow for me. But when I, got quiet and asked myself, well, what do I want as a light and as a shadow? And if there's common ground, a Venn diagram, you've got your shadow and your light, what's in the middle is probably the best bet. Yeah, and so as a Reiki practitioner, that's something we learn, first and foremost. And even in aesthetic school, there's a book that we had to read called, I think it's just the Book of Touch, or the Law of Touch. Anything you do in this world, has a reaction to somebody else. And if you can protect yourself first, and yeah, definitely with Reiki, it's a lot easier to create those boundaries within yourself. And so many of us as healers, myself included, it's an everyday thing I have to work on, and is we want to heal. We want everyone to feel better, and we'll do whatever we can to make them feel better. But oxygen mask on before anybody else's and stuff. And so it's just learning that, yes, I can offer these services, I can offer this energy and this, these tactics and tools, and try and build up your toolbox. But unless you go and utilize your own toolbox that I'm helping you build up, I can only do so much. And I think accepting that is something that right now I'm really working on. Of like, oh, just because I have the ability to do that, to heal, to help, and to offer, if it's not received, that's okay. But it's not my job to take on their energy. And so that's one of the big things for other healers is just your energy is your energy. You can offer your heart and soul to that person, but remember to give it, to take it back, and to not bring anything else with you. You have to keep our light high, our vibration high. Without that, then our work isn't as honest as it can be.
It's something that's so obvious, but it's only begun to be talked about recently, in a way.
I know, right?
Isn't it interesting?
Like, nobody talks about protecting their energy.
Yeah.
Just because you can doesn't mean you have to.
So true.
Yeah, and that's something with animals that I've learned, and too is especially working with sled dogs. I mean, these sled dogs, they are so physically phenomenal and capable of unreal, physical feats, but they don't have to, especially as healers. Just because we can doesn't mean we have to. We offer what we can, and then the rest is up to them.
And this time, because I had to close my in-person aspect of my business, and to sort of watch that that energetic, like, feeling like I have to do something, even though I was being drawn to like go in.
And space is moving. We get to experience so many things. And, I guess looking at my life experiences, it's like, holy buckets, I'm 27 and I've done an awful lot in my life. But then there's also people that have done way more than I have at this point in their life. And there's people that have done a lot less, and that's okay. But by coming into that acceptance of just accepting the place we're in, the messages that are coming in, what is around us right now, time kind of does. It just kind of floats away. And there isn't, we place a value on that, but hey, right now people aren't going to their 9-to-5s. We're not going to our, hair appointment at 4 p.m. We're not going to the doctor at 2 p.m. We've had to just deconstruct that time, because that's what we put our lives on, is time. And it's just like, nope, that's not as important as we once thought. It's all in flow, and that's what I'm trying to commit to. And, hopefully with the animal therapy is helping others commit to flow. Because that's what animals do. They flow, they do their thing, they go about it, and they don't resist. Yeah. And so it's kind of that acceptance of don't resist, be in flow, and just listen. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying, and I hope we're all kind of trying to do a little bit more of right now, is just listen and don't resist. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to do the things. Go for it. Because if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? And you're going to learn, even if that's as a manifesting generator, we're supposed to go and do the things depending on your outlook. Nothing's ever a failure. You learn things, you dive in deep, you grow, you cry, you laugh, you have all the experiences, and that's beautiful.
For you, does Reiki energy differ from, say, yogic energy? Is there a different texture?
For me, yes. But I think that it's because, they kind of both go hand in hand, at least as far as my path to them. But for me, yoga has a lot more of a physical energy to it. And things where Reiki does, for me, definitely reach a higher vibration that with yoga, I don't always, when I'm teaching yoga, I don't get, because it's more mind, body, vocal movement connected, where there's, for me, a different sense of concentration that, going through my head, is, how do I vocalize this to make it easy for people to understand what I'm saying? Whereas when I'm giving Reiki, it's, how do I offer this to provide, the highest sense of healing that this person needs? And then later, I'm discussing the treatment with them, I can kind of bring in that yogic aspect. For me, when there's yoga, there is that sense of now communication. And whereas for me with Reiki, I'm not physically communicating with that person, but emotionally and spiritually I am. It's such a effortless type of communication is that Reiki. It's just, there's that knowing, there's that understanding, and then later we can get into that physical communication to bring the understanding to the conscious mind. Yeah. I have loved it so much. I've been because I recently, before this kind of all started, I was kind of trying to get the push to do it more, just because I've missed, energetic work. I haven't been doing a lot of it, except for on dogs. I do it on the dogs all the time, and myself, and close friends and things. Yeah, since all this, it's like, hey, no one can go get a massage. Everyone's stuck at home with all of these feelings of uncertainty and anxiety and stress and worry. And it's like Reiki can help, you know. So here we go. And I've been doing so much and I've loved it. Because I, you know, was primarily doing hands-on Reiki, and when I took away my eyesight, you know, the person's not there. It was like, whoa, you know, all my other senses felt tenfold. And I think that it's a bit of a conjuncture of, yes, I'm doing a lot more Reiki now, so my senses are heightened, but also just that, yeah, you took away that sense of sight, you know, kind of a human's number one go-to for the most part. And so it definitely added a new level of energy that I felt I was able to connect with.
Yeah, that's cool. I like hearing about everyone at the moment, like how the distance is, because for some people it's like a step into more, and yeah, it's just sort of excites me.
How are you? Like, are you doing a lot of distance healing?
Yeah, I've been doing more. In some ways I find the same as you feel, but I also found it, because my work is so physical, like Little MiriMiri is like really physical, like it wasn't only energetic. So I personally found it a little clunky, the transition, but also more magical, and it's not a different type of magic, maybe. Like, because I think that the physical is one type and this was like a different expression. The synchronicity just seems like, whoa, you know, like the messages that would be coming through things, because in my practice I tend to not speak all the time when messages come. I'm like, I want you to be able to define what you've experienced. I don't want to put words into your experience, but with the distance, it's somehow like I had to. It was like I was being forced to do that.
I know, right? It's like, well, here, this is what I got. And that's what I say. Say, hey, this may or may not resonate with you, but this is what I got.
And is there anything you're offering that you would want to share with our community, or anything?
Just distance healing Reiki right now, and things. I'm working on a few more. So if they were to follow me on Instagram or anything, they'll definitely be first access to that. That's mostly just where I post. And things, and I make reindeer antler jewelry, working with antler is a beautiful medium for jewelry, because their antlers naturally fall off every year, so it's what's supposed to happen, and once the antler falls off, it's no use to them, and then they grow a brand new pair. So that old antler is at that point dead bone, and so it's bone that I work with for my jewelry, and I'm having a big sale on that, because those are all my Alaska designs, and I'm trying to get rid of that so I can create space in my mind and my energy for new Montana designs to come in. I'll continue to work with the antler stuff, and I've been doing live yoga classes, just like 30 or 40 minutes, a couple times a week as well.
Cool, that's so awesome.
You to see the dogs, they come and hang out with me for yoga.
That's so cute.
I haven't already kind of said this enough. Just take the time to thank your animals. Thank them, give them all the extra love, extra ear scratches or belly rubs or whatever you can give them, and just and do it often. You know, every morning I wake up and I go through a new list of why I love each dog stuff, and just I let them know how much I care about them, and I appreciate that they're here for me and with me. Thank you so much, Gabrielle.
Yeah, thanks, Elsa. I really appreciate that. I feel like I learned a lot, and your world couldn't be more different than my world. And so it's just so beautiful to like jump in.
Let the light in the dark and the love shine within and without us. Let the eyes of the animals be our mirrors into the world we create for ourselves. Let them be your guides. The rise of the sun show you the way. The path of the moon lights the trail for you. Be still, be you, and be true and honest with yourself. Howl at the moon, cry with the stars, and dance with the wind. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So grateful.